Hey guys, how you doing? Obviously, I have relaunched like how you living since I've moved, and everything's kind of settling down now within my life, and I can start focusing back on doing this thing and trying to, do some good in the world and see what happens. So I really wanted to point out why my focus is on mental health. Obviously, there are a lot of good causes and stuff out there for people to try and support and try and change things and stuff like that. But why, particularly, I want and I feel like I need to try and do something about the state of mental health, not just within the UK, but wherever I can reach across the world, which is why we're going for like YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, blah, blah, blah. Because then we can reach as many people as possible, and hopefully, if I can help just one person, then I've done something decent. So, mental health I'm going to talk about within the UK, because that's what I know, has been a kind of growing problem in the last probably 10 to 15 years. Now, what we don't know is if this is actually a growing problem or again because of social media, and we probably talk a little bit more, we're a bit more public about things, that this is something that has always kind of been there but hasn't been kind of spoke about as much. Personally, I do believe it's getting worse because when you talk about older generations and stuff like that and the situation they were in, there are certain things within their situations financially and stability wise and stuff like that that were kind of better off compared to my generation onwards. Now I know loads of people in there are going to go, well, you didn't go through a war, you didn't go through all this crap. Yeah, I fully get that. Yeah, that's not anything to do with what I'm bringing up or what. But I wanted to give you the statistics of what mental health is like within the UK at the moment. So just within the UK, and this information comes from Mind. So Mind is a mental health charity. So this is 100% spot on. This isn't some Wikipedia crap that I've picked up. So within the UK, 1 in 4 people will experience a mental health problem of some kind each year. That's in England. In England alone, 1 in 4 people. Now I work in a building that's got about 150 people in it. So 1 in every 4 of them will have some form of mental health issue within the next year. 1 in 6 people will report an experience with a common mental health problem like anxiety or depression. Then we get into more specific diagnosis because I think we have hit this thing where we do talk about mental health more now, and I think we try to do a bit more, but I think there's also a facade of trying to do a bit more, like a corporate push for trying to do a bit more. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't companies out there that do actually believe in trying to support people and trying to help out as much as possible, but I do believe it is slowly becoming kind of that let's jump on the bandwagon to make us look like we're doing something. Similar to how some companies will purposely brand with a pride flag during Pride to show support, but knowing that if they don't do this, they will lose custom during Pride Month. So you can't actually tell if it's a supportive thing or not. So yeah, so I do believe we're hitting that kind of thing. But to be more specific, within England, 8 in 100 people would be diagnosed with a mixed anxiety and depression disorder. 6 in 100 people will be diagnosed with a general anxiety disorder. 4 in 100 suffer from post-traumatic stress. 3 in 100 will suffer with depression. 2 in 100 will have a severe phobia. 1 in 100 will have an obsessive compulsive disorder, and 1 in 100 will have a panic disorder. Now, these are the more common mental health disorders. So, I think a lot of people do tend to jump on the bang and kind of go mental health is anxiety and depression. I do also think that we obviously see a lot of people that will have like depressive episodes and will have depressive times within their lives, but don't actually suffer from medical depression. So, for example, if something was to happen in your life, loss of a family member, bad time at work or loss of a job, whatever kind of thing, I'm not saying you're not depressed in that time and you are struggling through that. What I am saying is there is a medical diagnosis of anxiety and depression and a lot of other things which is not controlled by stuff that's happened in your life. For example, you can have a perfectly good day, but have a hell of a lot of self-hatred and have a hell of a lot of a big struggle with just trying to get out of bed in the morning because you can't see a purpose, you become nihilistic and stuff like that. That isn't because you've had a bad time in life that is medicated, that is a medical version of it. For example, the lack of serotonin, the way that your brain reacts and stuff like that. It's just the way it goes. So I can see that a lot of people will probably expect there to be more than 3 in 100 people that suffer with depression, but this is on the medical side of things. So continuing with the other stuff on here, now to go into more complex conditions that people probably don't really know too much about and probably don't talk about enough, is there is antisocial personality disorder. 3 in 100 people will have this in their lifetime. There is borderline personality disorder, where 2 in 100 people will have this, and bipolar disorder, where 2 in 100 people will have this. And then there are also psychotic disorders, such as schizophrenia, where 1 in 100 people in any given year will have this. So these are all just looking at a subset of the problems within mental health and stuff like that. So I know a lot of people watching this will say that anxiety and depression is your core kind of thing, but mental health is such a wider aspect, and there are so many more problems that we need to look at and need to try and educate ourselves in and trying to educate others in to try and support people that suffer with these things. A lot of people that will have a mental health problem will also suffer with suicidal thoughts and self-harm. So 1 in 5 people have suicidal thoughts, 1 in 14 people will self-harm, and 1 in 15 people will attempt suicide. That's massive. 1 in 15 people will attempt suicide. That is an incredibly horrible statistic. When you think that we were looking at before that 1 in 100 people will suffer from a certain condition, so 2 in 100 with phobias, 3 in 100 with depression, stuff like that, having 1 in 100 people, 1 in 15 people that will attempt suicide is absolutely ridiculous. We really need to do something more about this. We need to make sure that we can help in no matter whatever way possible. From this statistic, we consider women are more likely to have suicidal thoughts and make suicide attempts than men, but men are 3 times more likely to take their own life than women. So that's a pretty confusing statistic. So what I get from that is that women are more likely to attempt, but men are more likely to succeed. Now, take from that what you want. There is a horrendous stat within the UK of how many men die from suicide within a year. The current statistic, I believe, is there are more deaths from suicide within the UK than there are from cancer. And it's just, we really need to do something about this. We are in a situation, obviously we're in a pandemic with COVID and stuff like that, where this has completely destroyed a lot of people's lives. Be that from your day-to-day life, be furloughed, loss of job, and household problems, payment problems and stuff like that, or be it that your mental health has dropped, like you have suddenly developed mental health conditions, or your mental health has dipped massively because of the situations that we're in, you not being able to see your family, not being able to live your life and stuff like that. So we really do need to try and group together as much as possible to do what we can to support each other and kind of get into this mentality of we must talk more to each other, we must support each other more. Everybody has this responsibility to help somebody else out. I don't really have much else to say, to be honest. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of put this video out here of why I am doing this. I will go into the facts that I didn't mention. Is one of the reasons I'm doing this is I do suffer with anxiety and depression. I've been medicated for 3 years now, 4 years now, something like that. During this time, my medication has changed. I've been through CBT, I've been through therapy, I've been through loads and loads of different stuff. So during this channel, we'll do stuff about explaining the actual definitions of different disorders. We'll talk about the effects and side effects of being on medication. I'm going to try and educate myself in the world of meditation and stuff like that, and then we'll talk about that and CBT, and basically just kind of get you guys to realise that if you are someone that suffers with mental health, that you are not alone, because depression's biggest trick going is that it's probably the biggest club going in the world at the moment. Everyone can join and there are no problems with anybody. It doesn't matter where you're from or what you do or anything like that. Everyone can have a mental health disorder or a mental health illness or whatever. but it'll also make you feel like you're the only person that is actually affected by this stuff. So it'll make you feel like nobody understands and there is nobody there for you and that you are the only person to have ever dealt with this, so nobody can ever support you. That's not true. So one of the reasons why I really want to push this group is to kind of make a community where we can talk to each other about our experiences, share our experiences, and say, look, I went through something similar at this point during this. I've tried this medication. This is how it affected me. Not to say this is how it'll affect you, but heads up, this is what I went through, kind of thing. So yeah, guys, hopefully that kind of explains a little bit more about why I'm doing this. I probably am talking very fast, and I've tried to push a lot of information into one kind of video. But yeah, I hope that you kind of see why we're doing this and you jump on board, and we'll see you down the line. So thank you guys, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.